Hello everyone, my name is Shivani. I'm a Canadian licensed immigration consultant and I'm also the founder of Zeste Immigration Services Incorporation. We have proudly launched this initiative to offer free French language lessons to help on your Canadian immigration journey right here on this very YouTube channel. As you may know, French is becoming a key factor in Canadian immigration, and many programs now provide easier or faster pathways if you have strong French skills. Whether you're aiming for a Canadian work permit, direct permanent residency from within Canada or your home country to Canada, or looking to boost your CRS or PNP scores, French can open many doors. That's why we are committed to providing full French training from level A1 to C2, from beginner to advanced level, completely free of charge on this platform, on this very YouTube channel. We will be uploading videos regularly, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned and watch each lesson to get most benefit from this opportunity. This entire series is our way of supporting you on your immigration path, and your support means the world to us in return. Thank you, and let's learn French together for a brighter future in Canada. Keep watching this video to continue with your French lesson. All the very best for this lesson and many more to come.
For lesson 16, la leçon 16, nos objectifs de la leçon sont apprendre à poser des questions en français, s'exercer à utiliser les adverbes interrogatifs quand, où, comment, combien et pourquoi. Comprendre les trois façons de poser une question. L'intonation, est-ce que et inversion. Allons-y. Donc, comment poser une question avec l'intonation? How to ask a question using intonation. En français, on peut poser une question simplement par l'intonation montante à la fin de la phrase. C'est très courant dans un contexte familier ou un contexte informel. So in spoken French, when you ask a question, it is very common for people to just heighten their tone of voice at the end of the question. For example, tu regardes un film ce soir? See how the soir was higher pitched than the rest of the sentence. When you're speaking, that indicates that you're asking a question. When you've written it out, it has un point d'interrogation at the end, so you know it's a question. Another example, vous travaillez demain? Are you working tomorrow? Ils viennent au parc? Are they coming to the park? Elle habite à Montréal? Does she live in Montreal? So any question, the sentence stays the same, but your tone, l'intonation, rises at the end. Now how to use est-ce que. So est-ce que is probably the easiest, most common way to ask a question because everybody that speaks French looks at est-ce que and knows there's a question coming up. So avec est-ce que, l'ordre de la phrase reste le même. Il suffit d'ajouter est-ce que au début. So add it at the beginning of the sentence. Si le mot suivant commence par une voyelle ou un H muet, like we've seen throughout lessons, que devient QU apostrophe. With est-ce que, the sentence order remains the same. You simply add est-ce que at the beginning of your sentence, and if the word following est-ce que starts with a vowel or a silent H, you must transform que into QU apostrophe. Okay? For example, does Roger speak Spanish? In French, we're going to say, est-ce que Roger parle l'espagnol? Is Is it snowing in Ottawa today? Est-ce qu'il neige à Ottawa aujourd'hui? So here we have the perfect example. Il, the sentence would have been Il neige à Ottawa aujourd'hui. Il starts with a vowel. So when you're asking a question, est-ce que becomes est-ce que, and you add la liaison to the original sentence. Are you coming with us? Becomes est-ce que vous venez avec nous? So that's how we ask a question with est-ce que. Now we're going to practice forming a question using inversion. Donc, former une question par inversion. C'est plus formel. It's a very formal way of asking a question. Il faut inverser le sujet et le verbe et ajouter un trait d'union. So we're going to reverse the subject and the verb and add a hyphen in between the verb and the subject. For example, do you speak Chinese? Becomes, instead of vous parlez chinois, it's parlez-vous chinois. Is she going to the concert tonight? Instead of elle va au concert ce soir, it's going to be va-t-elle au concert ce soir? Did they arrive on time? Instead of ils sont arrivés à l'heure, it's going to be sont-ils arrivés à l'heure? With je, on n'utilise pas l'inversion. So avec je, we normally don't use the inversion unless it's with the verbs avoir, être, devoir, ou pouvoir. So a lot of times you'll hear, puis-je avoir une tomate? May I have a tomato? You used the inversion because it was with le verbe pouvoir. Otherwise, you're going to stick to est-ce que. Another example of je is, puis-je entrer? Ou ai-je le bon numéro? Do I have the right number? So that's with le verbe avoir. Ai-je le bon numéro? Now let's look at question words. Les adverbes interrogatifs. These are words that you're going to use when asking a question, depending on what information you're searching for. So for example, if you're looking for where, you're looking for a place, you're going to ask où. When, quand. How, comment. Why, pourquoi. How much, combien. And how many, combien de. So now we're going to dissect those adverbs and go in depth with how to use them, okay? So when you're using l'adverbe où, you're trying to get the answer to the English question where. In French, you're going to use où. For example, où est-ce que Tiffany travaille? Where does Tiffany work? Tu vas où ce week-end ou cette fin de semaine? Where are you going this weekend? Où va-t-il? Where is he going? When you're using quand, which is the English when, you're going to use it, for example, when are you leaving for Vancouver? In French, you would say, quand est-ce que vous partez pour Vancouver? If you're trying to say, when do you go to university? You can say, quand vas-tu à l'université? Or you can say, tu vas à l'université quand? When is she arriving? You can say, quand arrive-t-elle? When you're asking how in English, So, comment en français. Comment est-ce que tu fais ce gâteau? How would you make this cake? Comment vas-tu à l'école? How do you go to school? Tu cuisines comment? How do you cook? When you're asking pourquoi or why, you can say pourquoi est-ce qu'il est en retard? Why is he late? Pourquoi étudie-t-il le français? Why is he studying French? Tu pleures pourquoi? Why are you crying? When you're asking combien or combien de, which is how much or how many, you can say combien est-ce que ça coûte? How much does it cost? Combien d'enfants y a-t-il dans la classe? How many children are in the class? Il y a combien de chaises? How many chairs are there? So now it's practice time. So I'm going to give you a sentence in English and you are going to translate it in French using all of the tools that we just learned. So do you have a double room available? Now the you is formal. So do you, formal, have a room available? In French, we would say, est-ce que vous avez une chambre double disponible? If we were to say, where is Julie? How would we say that in French? Where is Julie? In French, we would say, où ce qu'elle est? Or où est Julie? If we were to say, why are you, singular, wearing a blue jacket today? Why are you, the singular you, wearing a jacket today? In French, we would say, pourquoi est-ce que tu portes une veste bleue aujourd'hui? We could also say, pourquoi est-ce que tu portes un manteau bleu aujourd'hui? Depending on what kind of jacket. Number 4, how did they, female, go to the museum yesterday? How did they, female, go to the museum yesterday? In French, we would say, comment est-ce qu'elles sont allées au musée hier? Comment est-ce qu'elles sont allées au musée hier? Now I would like for you to fill in the blanks. So you're going to fill it in with the question word that corresponds with the question that we're asking. So if I said, how est-ce que tu vas au travail? How would I say that in French? How est-ce que tu vas au travail? You're right. Comment? Comment est-ce que tu vas au travail? If I was to ask, when est-ce que vous partez en vacances? When est-ce que vous partez en vacances? That's it. Quand? Quand est-ce que vous partez en vacances? If I was to say, how many est-ce qu'il y a de livres sur la table? How many est-ce qu'il y a de livres sur la table? If you guessed combien, you got it right. Now if I asked, where est mon sac? Where est mon sac? Où? Où est mon sac? Now I'm going to give you a sentence in French and I want you to translate it in English for me. The sentence is, quand allez-vous au Québec et comment est-ce que vous allez voyager? Quand allez-vous au Québec et comment est-ce que vous allez voyager? The answer is, when are you going to Quebec and how are you going to travel? Great work.